I was in college once, and I know that the way you get girls is you sign up for activities. So let's make some noise if you're just in it for the chicks. Come on. Liars. You are all liars. I was 12 years old when I first heard this song come onto the television. You've probably heard it before. It goes a little something like this. You know what that is? Anybody know? Yeah. Hail to the Chief. And when do they play Hail to the Chief? Anybody know? That's right. The President of the United States walks out. Now, I'm 12 years old at the time. I'm in my living room, and I'm watching the television. I watch this man come out on stage, and everybody just jumps to their feet for this man, screaming and applauding. And I'm thinking, I gotta have that job. I've gotta be the President of the United States. So I went into school, 12 years old. I went up to all my classmates and my teachers, and I said, excuse me, I just want to let you know that I, someday, will be the President of these United States. Now, do you think that everyone, including my teachers, said, yes, you can? Did they say that, yes or no? No. What happens when you tell people a lofty goal? What happens when you tell them your big, fat, hairy goal? Something you want to do to change the world? They go, oh, sweetie. Pump the brakes. And that's what they said to me. They said, sweetie, maybe you could be like, you know, a congressman or something, but president, that's a lofty goal, sweetie. But it didn't matter. I never spent time with listening and believing my doubters. And I don't want you to believe your doubters, because you're going to face many. And so, as time went on, I kept telling people, I'm going to be the President of the United States of America. And the years went by. Until finally I got to college. And I've been telling everybody about this goal, this vision that I had from when I was 12 years old. Finally, I thought, I need to get some traction on this goal. I need to get some momentum, get people believing in me. And so I decided, well, if I'm going to go live at the White House someday, what if I go, and work there? In the meantime, just check out the decorating, Look around, see if I like it. So I remember the day that I applied, and I had gotten in the mail the application, filled it out, sent it in, then finally weeks went by, it got mailed back, the letter to tell me whether or not I had been selected shows up in the mail. Maybe you've had that moment when it tells you, whether or not you got into the college, you got the scholarship, whether or not you got the job, whatever it may be, and you're holding that important piece of information, and it's sealed up and your heart is racing. I remember holding that envelope up to my nose, like my nose had the truth or something. And I was like, oh yeah. And I opened up the letter, and it said, congratulations, Sean Stevenson. You've been selected to work in the White House alongside of the President of the United States. You will be reporting for duty. You look forward to seeing. Now, keep in mind I'm in college, right? And I had this letter that said I was going to go work at the White House for the president. I went to all my classmates, all the ladies really, and I was thinking, what are you doing this summer? You working at the White House like this guy? And I remember my first day on the job. I had stepped into my vision. That moment when you know that all of your work, all of your efforts have finally crystallized. We're feeling that here today. I remember the day I was going up and down the halls thinking about some of the greatest leaders in history had roamed these halls in the White House. And I wanted to move a painting because I didn't like where it was, but I didn't think I should because it wasn't my place yet, so I didn't touch it. And so I loved it, though. And I loved it because there were so many magical things that happened there. First of all, I loved it when the president came home from work, he would land at Air Force One at Andrews Air Force Base. And then to get from the Air Force Base to the White House, you didn't just show up in like a SUV or a minivan like you and I might. No, he would show up in a massive helicopter. We're talking about a helicopter the size of a school bus. And it's dark green, big bright white stripe at the top, and an American flag painted on the side. And a huge propeller that you could hear coming for miles. And I remember one day I was thinking, Sean, you need to be outside, you need to greet the president when he comes home from work. What could go wrong? Don't get ahead of me. So I'm thinking, all right, I gotta match this up just right though. So I was looking at the president's schedule, looking at mine, checking out, making sure my superiors weren't around, and then the time came. I could hear off in the distance, and so I headed down to the South Lawn entrance, where the helicopter was just right outside, hovering about 10 feet off the ground. And I get to these doors, and these doors are closed. And there's no handicapped accessible buttons to open these doors. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, these buttons, okay? They're so, when you see them and you're holding lots of pizza and you're like, oh, how convenient. They're not for you. And just for a moment, you know those bigger stalls in the bathroom? They're not your personal dressing room. And you know who you are. So anyway, I'm seeing these doors, and they're closed. No one around to open them. And I'm thinking, this 12-year-old boy inside of me is thinking, Sean, you need to get outside. You need to greet the president when he comes home. How are you going to get through these doors? And then it hit me. There's something called momentum. If I got enough running room with my wheelchair, I could blast through those doors. So I'm now looking at these doors like they're linebackers, and I got to score a touchdown, right? I start beating my chest like a football player. Oh, you got nothing. You got nothing, son. And I take off. Bam! These doors fly open. I get outside. Now, I think I'm in the clear, right? But no, a giant wall of wind hits me and blows me back into the White House. Oh, no. So finally I get outside, and I am huffing, and I am puffing. I get outside, and I'm like, that was easy. And now I'm outside, and I think I made it. Ever been there when you